best car, SUV, or truck, guess what? You're in luck. Frontier Motors is down the street. Got the best deals that can't be beat. Don't overpay, come in today. Doing business the old-fashioned way. Frontier, we've got the right price. Frontier, we'll treat you mighty nice. Frontier Motors, low overhead country.
And I'm pleased to announce that we have the owner of that fine establishment here in the studio, ready, willing, and more than able to answer questions from you, inquiries, whatever it be on the price of a car, truck, or SUV that you're thinking of buying, selling, or trading in. You will do that by calling us at 478-3116. So let us give a glorious WCOA welcome to Ivan Strickland.
Thanks, Don. Thanks so much.
Sounds of massive applause in the background.
Yeah, why don't you have an applause button?
Good point.
This is kind of an interesting format that we have here at the WCOA radio show. We are doing this live on the radio, and if you want to join us by getting a value on your car, you can dial 478-3116. That's 478-3116. We also are videotaping this for our cable friends out there in the Pensacola area. And so if you're watching this on TV right now, don't bother calling in, but you can call the dealership phone number if you need a value. All of our salespeople and sales managers are standing by to give you the value of your car. And the phone number at the dealership is 436-8080. They're only open until 6 o'clock at night, so if you're watching this on cable after 6 o'clock, you can leave a message and we'll get back to you in the morning, or just call during working hours. The values that we give are a little bit different than you get on the internet. And I've got the internet right in front of me. And when you Google used car prices, you're going to get a Kelley Blue Book, an Edmunds, and a consumer's version of the NADA. We use an official NADA guidebook. These guidebooks are not available on the internet. I don't know why they're not available. I don't know why they make them a secret. You have to be a dealership or a bank, credit union, or an insurance company to be able to get these books. And sometimes the values are very close to what you see on the internet, according to Kelley in the Blue Book, and sometimes they're hundreds, even sometimes thousands of dollars apart. And the question is, why? I don't know why. I do know that in our area, we use this particular NADA guidebook because that's how much our banks are going to lend on a particular car, which is very important because I would say probably 85% of the customers that walk into a car dealership are financing the car somewhere, whether they finance at the dealership, through a bank, or through a credit union, or perhaps even through a private individual, maybe a friend or relative is financing the car for them. But the book value is very important. Also very important on these NADA guidebooks is the fact that they use these guides if you have an insurance claim. Most, and again, I'm not saying every insurance company, but most insurance companies in the Pensacola area use the NADA guidebook for replacement value. And that is very important if you have a car that is lost based on an accident or stolen. Before you settle, give Frontier Motors a call, and at no charge, we will give you the NADA, and we will put it in writing. And that's very important because you don't just want to go back to the insurance company and say, well, I think my car's worth more money. Well, that's not going to get you too much. But if you have an appraiser like myself that's appraising the car for you and signing it and going back, then I can kind of help you make sure that you get enough money. I did this also for a customer the other day because he donated a car and he needed, for tax deductions, I guess the IRS has been a little bit more difficult than normal. He needed something in writing by a certified appraiser. Now, I don't know what a certified appraiser is. Based on the fact that I've been appraising cars for about 20 years, I guess I would be certified without having any type of certification. I just happen to be in the car business. That's what I do for a living. So I had no problem signing his tax form for, it was a particular car. I think it was a Honda Odyssey that he was donating. And I gave him the value and signed it on his tax return. Now, no, most dealerships aren't going to do that. And the reason is because what if it happens to get audited? Now they're going to call you down. It takes time out of my life to make sure that I don't, that I have to defend what I say. But, I've been doing this for 15 years, and I've never had to go to court. I've never had a problem with it, and I give values all the time. We're one of the few car dealerships that will give you a vehicle value in writing and sign it. One of the things that also makes us a little bit different at Frontier Motors is that what we do is we give you an out-the-door figure that most car dealerships don't want to do. I don't know why they don't want to do it, because I think that's one of the big apprehensions most customers have, is going into the dealership and they think now they've got to do battle. What I mean by that is, boy, I want to find out how much that car is going to be, and I know it's going to be a 3-hour process. It doesn't have to be a 3-hour process. It doesn't even have to be a 3-hour process, even if you have a trade-in. I can give you a bottom line price with a trade-in in somewhere I would say between 15 and 20 minutes maximum. Now, the reason it takes even 15, 20 minutes is because we get the ID number, We log it in the computer. It gives me a background history report on the car. It gives me all kinds of values. It tells me how many vehicles like yours are for sale in our area and what the dealers or private individuals are asking for them. So that takes a couple of minutes for me to put together all that information. Plus, I take the car around the block. I make sure that everything works. So I can give you a valid appraisal. That 15, 20 minutes is well spent because in those 15 or 20 minutes, you can also take our vehicle for test drive that you're looking at. Some people come to Frontier Motors for appraisal. They're not thinking about buying a car. They just want to know what their car's worth. Maybe they're thinking about buying a brand new car at a new car dealership down the road or maybe on the internet. So they want to know what their car should be appraised for if they make their best possible deal and then throw the keys to the appraiser. What should it bring? So it's really helpful to have not just the book value, which you don't need me for that. You can get that on the internet, but also to know what should the real appraisal be. We also have with us the new car cost guides. The new car cost guides are a publication that I get from Consumers Reports and actually from Black Book. I shouldn't say Consumers Reports. That's the same, that's Hearst Publications prints that also prints the Black Wholesale Guidebooks that we have with us to the show. These are kind of what I call in the car business the secret books because it tells us what the cars are going for currently at an auction or maybe what a dealer should pay for a particular car. But we also have the new car cost guides. It tells me what the invoice on a particular car is. Very important. If you're going to buy a brand new car, how about getting a little advice from Frontier Motors? If you decide to go over to Lexus Mobile and you want to buy a 2011 GS 450H, which is their hybrid, absolutely gorgeous car, I can tell you that it has a retail value, a retail price on the window sticker is going to be $57,950, and the dealer cost is $52,154. So I can tell you it's got about a $5,000 markup. I can also tell you that the equipment looks like the equipment's marked up about 12%. So if you put some equipment on the car, they've got a couple different packages you can add for. I can tell you that. I also can tell you if there's any rebates or incentives on a car that the dealer might not disclose. Now, rebates go to the customer. They have to. That's a law. A rebate goes to everybody. But an incentive doesn't have to. A dealer incentive is an incentive that the dealership gets to move out a particular vehicle, and that incentive is from the manufacturer to the dealer. The dealer can do with that money what he wants. And if they have a dealer incentive on a car, I'm going to pick on a franchise that's not in Pensacola. Let's pick on Land Rover. The Range Rover, the 2011 Range Rover, has a $2,000 dealer incentive. So if you go to the Range Rover dealer in Mobile and you work out your best possible deal, let's say you get it for $500 over cost, well, guess what? The dealer's still being slipped a couple of thousand underneath the table by the manufacturer, and he doesn't have to tell you about it. He can use that money to give you more money for your trade-in. He can use that money to give you a better deal on the vehicle you're looking at, or he can use that money to put in his pocket or use it for advertising, whatever way he sees fit, but he doesn't have to tell you about it. And that's where I come in because I don't mind sharing that information. Now, I'm not trying to take a deal away from the dealer. If you want a brand new Range Rover, I don't sell brand new cars, even though we have some cars on the lot that have no miles on them. Because I'm not a franchise dealer, I have to sell those brand new cars as used. And I do get customers asking all the time, can you get me a brand new car? And the chance of me finding exactly the brand new car that you're looking for, I don't go and buy them at dealers, I buy them at the auction. Because if I buy them from a dealer, they're going to want to make a profit. Where at the auction, I can buy a new car for used car prices. And I'll just give you an example. I bought a 2011 Toyota Venza the other day. It had 8 miles on it when I bought it. Now, a customer drove it the other day and put about 30 miles on it. So it's got about 40 miles on it right now. And, of course, that car is brand new. But because I own it and I'm not a Toyota dealership, I sell that car as used. So I do get new cars every once in a while, but I can tell you what the rebates and incentives of that particular car is, so make sure you don't pay too much. And the other thing I can do is I can help you with is that if you're going to buy a brand new one, and this is where we come in, if you say, well, I'm going to buy a brand new car, I want to know what my car is going to be appraised for, we can give you the information to make sure you don't pay too much on that brand new car. And we can also give you the alternative to a brand new one, and we'll use the Venza as an example. If you're going to go to Bob Tyler Toyota, which is the only Toyota dealership here in Pensacola, and you see a brand new one that hasn't been titled and has 50 miles on it, you get their bottom line price out the door in writing, and you come to Frontier Motors, or you can come to us first. It doesn't matter to us, whichever. Usually the dealer that you go to last has the incentive. It's much easier for the dealer to go to last because all he has to do is keep dropping his price. They'll hit you with an obnoxious high price, and you say, no, that's too much, and you're ready to walk out, and the dealer starts dropping his price. Now, you know where the cutoff is. If you came to Frontier Motors, and I'm telling you the out-the-door figure is $25,000, including taxes, title, dock fee, everything out the door, and you know it's $25,000, well, if you go to the Toyota dealership and they tell you it's $28,000, what are you going to say? You're going to say, no, that's too much money. He says, well, what about $27,000? Nope, that's too much money. What about $26,000? Nope, that's too much money. What about $25,000? You say, nope, that's still too much money because you can buy it from us for that $25,000. And now he says, well, what about $24,000? And you'll say, I'll take it. Now, I'm not saying they're going to sell it to you for $24,000. I do a lot of research before I buy that car that I buy to make sure that when I put my profit on it, which is a very small marginal profit based on a low overhead, not being in Car City, not having a showroom, not having a mausoleum, having bought our property 15 years ago for $105,000, even though we did expand little sections at a time or $20,000 or $25,000 at a time, our overhead is still the lowest in town for what I would call a major dealership. We stock 300 cars. And because of that, when I put a profit on it, that $25,000 out the door on that particular car is normally going to beat the new car price by $2,000 to $4,000. Sometimes even more than that on some of the higher line, higher priced luxury cars. Sometimes I can beat the dealer by as much as $10,000, but that's the exception to the rule. I would say on a brand new car that I have in stock with no miles on, it's going to be somewhere between $2,000 to $3,000. And what's the difference? Even if it's only $1,000, wouldn't it be worth it? You're saving $1,000. You're getting a car with 50 miles on it. No, I am using the extreme example. I don't have a lot of cars that are brand spanking new, but I do have some. But I do have cars with very low miles on them that I would compete against a new one. For example, this is kind of a weird one. I've got a 2006 Cadillac XLR, and 2006 now is going on 4 years old, actually going on 5 years old with 2011, but my car's got 14,000 miles on it. So if you're going to buy a brand new one, a brand new XLR is $103,000 if you can find one left over because they haven't built them since last year. But it's $103,000. I've got one on the lot that is $41,900 with 14,000 miles on. I would put that up against a new one. How about the 2010 Chevy Colorado with 1,300 miles on it? The 2008 Chevrolet Corvette with 8,000 miles on, I would put that up against a new one, even though it's going on 3 years old. If you're going to buy a brand new one, and the brand new one is $55,000, and I've got one that I can sell for $36,000, has 8,000 miles on it, some people will sit up and take notice of that. I have a 2011 Malibu on the lot with 9,000 miles on it. I have a 2010 Chevy Traverse three-seat vehicle with 9,000 miles on it. I have a 2010 Sebring four-door with 100 miles on it. Again, just about a brand new car. It's a 2010, has 100 miles on it. And people say, well, where does these cars come from? Well, that was a rental car that was never used. The rental agency, let's say it was Hertz Rental Agency, bought 100 of these, but they only put 75 of them in service. And so the other ones were sitting, the 25 other ones were sitting in their lot, not being rented. Well, guess what happens? After just sitting for a couple of months, boom, they go to the auction. That's where I come in and I snap them up for used car prices. And I'm buying this car as if it has 20,000 miles on it. It's got 100 miles on it. How about 2010 Dodge Diesel 2500 with 7,000 miles on it? 2010 Ford Focus with 3,000 miles. We have a, let's see, I'm going to go extremely low miles here. Nothing with 15 or 20,000 miles on it. How about a 2009 Ford F-250 with 8,000 miles on it? 2009 with 8,000 miles on it. 2010 Honda Civic with 9,000 miles on it. That's a DX. We also have an EX model with a sunroof, a 2010 with 9,000 miles on it. Let's see what else we have. Hopefully I'm not boring everybody here. But you'll notice if you're watching this on TV, folks, there's now cars whizzing by in the background. We don't normally advertise individual cars, but we normally advertise as the premise. And I think I'm making my point that if you're going to be looking at a brand new car somewhere, before you put your money down and sign the dotted line, at least call Frontier Motors. You don't even have to stop in. Just call 436-8080. Let us know what you're looking at. The worst that we can do is tell you what you should pay on that brand new car because we have the cost guides with us. But then we can also tell you what we can sell you one that's a 2011 or 2010 with maybe 3 or 4 or 5,000 miles on. Maybe if you don't care, as long as the car's in good shape, maybe you'll even go up to 20,000 miles and save even more money as long as the car's still in a factory warranty. The Hyundai and the Kia products, folks, have a 5-year, 60,000-mile warranty. So if you're buying one with 20,000 miles on it, you still get more warranty than if you're buying a brand new Toyota, which only gives you 36. If you buy a Hyundai with 20,000 miles on it, you still have 40,000 miles of factory warranty left, which makes it just about a better deal. And I urge anybody out there that's looking at a Honda, Toyota, Nissan, give Kia and Hyundai a shot at your business before you put your money down because they're a better deal. They give you a better warranty. As far as I'm concerned, I'm looking at the consumer's ratings and pricing guide. They are just as reliable as a Honda and Toyota. Right now, probably even more reliable than a Toyota based on the recalls that they've had. And even though the recalls are free, you're still somewhat inconvenienced if they've had 5 recalls in a year, that every time there's a recall, you got to zoom back to that dealer. You know, half the time they don't even have parts in stock, because when they recall 1 million or 2 million vehicles at the same time, who's producing those parts, especially now with the earthquake? If you got a recall on your Toyota, you're pretty much out of luck, because I'll pretty much tell you that they're not going to have that recall part in inventory unless it's built here in the nation. We have with us also the ratings and pricing guides that we have at Frontier Motors. We can tell you which cars are rated the best and which cars are rated the worst. And, you know, some of the cars that aren't rated so good, we do really good with. And I'll give you a prime example. The Jeep Grand Cherokee does not have a very good rating based on consumers' reports, and it's one of our best-selling mid-size SUVs because they're really good-looking. Other than the older ones, the real old ones, I'm talking about 10-year-old or older that had transmission problems, air conditioning, and some electrical problems. The newer ones, if you talk about a 2005 on up, I haven't had any issues with those vehicles. But because of past reliability problems, they still say it's a bad vehicle, even though the new ones are much better. And I guess you could throw a Hyundai in that same classification. 15 years ago, when we started our dealership, our banks wouldn't even finance a Hyundai because they would expire before the loan expired. And that was pretty bad. Well, what happens sometimes is if the vehicle expires, you don't have the money to fix it, you stop paying your loan. So the loan agency said, I'm not borrowing money on Hyundai, but that was 15 years ago. And now you can get 100%, even more than 100% of retail finance on the Hyundai because they have such a good warranty and they're such a great car. And obviously you can tell I'm pushing the Hyundais, not because I'm a Hyundai dealer, but because I feel that they're a really good buy. And the nice thing about being an independent dealer is I sell all makes and models. It's so nice for people to come in and not get pressured into making a purchasing decision based on the salesman that's selling them or trying to sell them that particular car. That's the only one they sell. And the prime example is if you go to a Toyota dealership, that salesperson has been to Toyota dealer school to tell you why the Toyota is the best product in the world. And what happens when you go across the street and you walk into the Honda dealership? They tell you why that Honda is the best car you're ever going to buy. And when Saturn was still open, I remember the Saturn salespeople had to go to school for not a couple days like these other ones, but for 3 weeks. And they were taught why the Saturn was the best possible product out there. And when you walk into these franchises, they pressure you and to give you all kinds of publications why their car is the best car. At Frontier Motors, you don't have that problem. The reason? We sell them all. If you walk in and you said, I don't want a Honda, I'd rather have a Nissan, we'll sell you the Nissan. If you walk in and said, I don't want any Japanese product, I want a Chevrolet or a Ford product, or I want the Ford because they didn't take a bailout, excuse me, guess what? We've got the Ford sitting right there. We've got the Ford Fusion, the Ford Focus. We have the Ford Edge. We got the Ford Flex in stock. You can flip over to the Ford F-150 pickup truck, maybe a Ranger. We've got them all lined up right there. And as of this morning, I think my sheet said 299 cars in inventory. 2 more got dropped off this morning. That makes it 301 if we didn't sell 5 by the time I get back to the show. 299, $5.9 million, almost $6 million worth of inventory. And the only reason that that's impressive is that when you come on our lot, it's not like some of the used car lots in town where they've got 30 or 40 cars on the lot. And within 30 seconds, you can walk through and say, hey, you got any 2010 Camrys? Nope, I don't got one. Boom, you jump back in the car and leave. Where when you come on our lot and you ask for 2010 Camry, not only do we have the 2009, 2010, the 2011, we've got 2007, we've got 2008. And if you flip over to the Nissan products, we'd have a 2011 Nissan Altima, a 2010, a 2009, a 2008. And we can go over to the Sonata, we can go over to the Optima, we can go over to the Lexus product, the Acura product. We've got them all lined up there. All of the car doors are unlocked every morning, so you don't have to get a salesman to run back and forth getting you a key, which is a reason they do that, folks, is so you feel obligated that the guy's working real hard for you. So if you go on the dealership's lot this morning and you look at their lot and you find the car doors are locked, there's a reason they're locked. It's a gimmick. Why wouldn't they unlock them? Wouldn't it be much easier for you to check out different cars if the car doors were unlocked every morning? How hard is it? In our dealership, we unlock 300 cars every morning. We've got 10 salespeople that unlock them. Every salesperson is in charge of around 25 or 35 cars. They unlock them all every day, and they lock them at night every day. And the reason we do that is to make it easier for you that if you want to shop by yourself without making it feel like you're pressured, it gets more people on our lot because they know they don't have to buy today. And when you come on our lot, you know, we give you one of these price lists that our salespeople have. You can actually shop during the day by yourself. people tell me that our lot is jammed on Sunday. And that still leads me to believe that the reason people are shopping on Sunday, well, number one is they're off. So I guess that's one of the reasons. But the other reason they shop on purpose on Sunday is because most of the dealerships are closed on Sunday. Not all of them, but most of them are closed on Sunday. So the people shop on Sunday because they're not what they call bothered by a salesperson. Now, our salespeople never bother anybody. If you walk into Frontier Motors and you ask the salesperson, hey, I'd really just like to look at the lot by myself. I heard your radio show and your TV show, and you say that I can shop without a salesperson. You don't have to follow them around. Now, most of our customers want and need a salesman because they have a limited time. They're coming during the day, so they're taking off of work or their off day, and they don't want to spend all day at the dealership. So the salesman really helps them if they're looking at a particular price range or a particular payment range or whatever the information they have. The salesman can help you get that information lickety-split, and you can be on your way. But if you're taking the time, you just want to kick tires at Frontier Motors, our salespeople will give you the price list so you can shop by yourself. If there's a particular car that you're interested in, at that point, you call that particular salesman back. He will get you the keys. You can take it for a test drive. And while you're doing that, we can evaluate your car. Again, we'll do both of these things at the same time. Number one, you can find out if you like our car, and we're going to find out what we can give you for your car. Now, if you don't like our car when you come back, then it doesn't really matter, but we can still do that free appraisal for you because what do you know? How do you know that I won't just buy the car from you? Some people will sell me their car because if they are going to buy a brand new car, they don't want what they consider the hassle of a trade-in. And the reason is because they never know what they're really getting for the trade-in. They never know if the price is inflated where they're going to get more money for the trade-in. They would rather just go in and be able to negotiate their best deal on that new car and not have to mess around with the trade-in. And that's where we come in because if I want that car on our lot, I will just write you a check for it. Or I can tell you what you should get for it. You can go back to that dealership and get the best that you can do, and I'll just buy, I'll price the car, and you can just trade it there, and I'll buy it right from that dealer. And the advantage would be if you got a $10,000 car, you're going to save about $715 in taxes because the dealer's going to tell you that if you trade your car in, you get taxed on the balance. In other words, the trade difference. Instead of the top line price, if the car is $30,000, for example, if you don't have a trade-in, you got to pay taxes on $30,000. Well, if you have a $10,000 trade-in, now you only have to pay taxes on $20,000. But you can have the best of both worlds. Go ahead and trade it at that dealership, and I'll just buy it right from the dealer because I don't have to pay taxes. The customer that buys it from me has to pay the taxes. Only the user has to pay the taxes, not the broker, which I would be considered the broker. The history reports at Frontier Motors are in every car in the glove box. But if you are buying a car from a dealer or on the internet and you have to pay for the history report, you don't have to pay for the history report. Just call Frontier Motors at 436-8080. And I've got the history reports on our computers, every one of our salesmen. You don't have to stop in. You don't have to tell them, hey, I need a free history report. Our salespeople will run it for you. They can scan it and email it to you. They can fax it to you. Or they can just print it. You can come in and pick it up if you're looking at a particular car. Now, the reason that's important is going to save you a little bit of money. If you go online and you want a history report, sometimes they'll charge as much as $30 for a history report. Some dealerships don't subscribe to the history reports because they cost too much. I think at our program costs $500 a month is what we pay for history reports, but we can run as many of them as we want. So it's not costing us per history report. I'm not trying to make you feel bad that you're getting something for nothing. We're going to pay the $500 anyways because we run a couple of thousand of them a month just for our own cars. Every car that I buy, I write a history report because I want to make sure that the vehicle doesn't have a salvage title and it doesn't have an odometer problem or that it doesn't have, it's not a flood damaged vehicle. The history reports will also tell you where the vehicle came from, how many owners it had. It'll tell you if the vehicle's been in an accident. Sometimes it'll tell you if it's a minor accident or a moderate or major accident. These are all things that are important to know when I'm evaluating a car. And the first thing that I do when I evaluate a car is I put the ID number, the VIN number, into the computer, and it spits out a history report. And again, at Frontier Motors, those are no charge. Our dealership is located at 230 Beverly Parkway. If you've never heard of Frontier Motors, if you're a first-time listener, I know that in the Pensacola area, we get a lot of people that are moving in that are military. They might have just moved to town. We are the largest independent dealership actually in the state. I got the new census out. Last year, we sold more used cars than any dealer registered in the state, and I've got the publications to show people that. And the reason that's important is the reason we sell so many cars is because, number one, we have so many cars, and also that we give good deals. If we gave bad deals, we wouldn't sell more cars than anybody else. So we give very good deals. Our prices are more than competitive. If our price is the same as another dealership, it's normally because our vehicle has less miles on it, has more equipment, and is in better condition. So there are times where you might go on the internet and see that a price is there and see another dealership that has the same price, but ours is either going to be a better color or have more equipment or be in better condition. We pride ourselves in making sure that when our cars are on our lot, ready for sale, that there are no issues. And folks, one thing that people don't realize is they go to a dealer's lot and they wonder, why does this dealer have a car on the lot and the check engine light's on, the spare tire's missing, the tires are bald? Because people don't realize that any type of reconditioning that a dealer does is cash money. You can't finance the reconditioning. In other words, when I go and buy a car, I can floor plan the car, which is basically finance the car. I don't have to write a check for it when I buy it, even though a lot of our cars are paid for, which keeps my overhead down. But there are some cars that we have on floor plan. But when I put tires on that car and fix the check engine light and it costs $1,200, that's all cash gone. Fortunately, we're in a position to be able to make sure that our cars are reconditioned to the maximum. So when you come on our lot, you don't have to worry about having to take the car and put tires on it, having to fix a check engine light. And the first thing you try is a sunroof, and the sunroof doesn't work because the dealer didn't have the money to pay to have the sunroof fixed. And he's constantly making excuses. Well, if you buy it, I'll take care of that. Because he doesn't want to take care of it, because he doesn't have the money to take care of it. And that's if you go to one of those dealerships, I would be a little bit nervous if that happens, because if they don't have the money to recondition a car, what if you have a loan on the car that you have? How do you know they have the money to pay off that loan? Because if they don't have the money to pay for a set of tires, they might not have the money to pay off your loan. Do you know that when you trade your car in at the dealership, that they can't get the loan for your car until they get the title? Well, how do they get the title? They got to send them a check. What if you got a car you owe $20,000 on? That dealer immediately has to come up with $20,000 in cash. Matter of fact, when I sell you a car, I don't get paid for that car that I'm selling you until I produce the title. Well, if I have a floor plan in my bank, well, my bank won't give me the money. Won't give me the title until I give them the money. You won't give me the money until I give you a title. The more cars I sell, the more money I have to have, because I've got to come up with that money to be able to pay the bank, and your bank is not going to give me the money until I give them the title. So it's a vicious cycle, and you have to be very nervous if you're on a dealer's lot that doesn't do any reconditioning on their cars, because that means they don't have the money to. So I would check that out. The other thing I would check out also, if you go on a dealer's lot and the cars are marked as is, and there are some major franchise dealerships in the Pensacola area, which is very interesting, that when you walk on a car lot and their car is 4 years old and has 60,000 miles on it, and let's say it's a Toyota, well, that car's out of factory warranty. Well, if they mark that box as is, I would be a little bit nervous. All of our vehicles under 100,000 miles have a 3-month, 3,000-mile drivetrain warranty, which means that if there's something wrong with the engine transmission, you're covered. Well, if you got a franchise dealership that's not willing to stand behind their car, at least for 30 to 90 days, I would be a little bit nervous about buying a used car from them. And I really don't understand why they would sell the car as is, other than the fact that they don't want to take care of you after the sale. And that's why we pride ourselves in putting a warranty on all of our vehicles. Again, under 100,000 miles, under 10 years old, you come with a 3-month drivetrain warranty. And we also do a safety check on every car to make sure that all the lights are working, that all the electronics and everything works. And this is something that a lot of dealerships don't do. And they pay for certification. Be careful of that word certification. My car is certified. It's not free. What they do is they're forcing an extended warranty on you. We sell extended warranties, but we leave it up to the customer whether they want the extended warranty or not. It would increase the price of my car if I make everybody buy an extended warranty, and that's what certification is. We can give you free advice at Frontier Motors. We're open until 6 o'clock at night, 4 o'clock on Saturday. We're closed on Sunday. The address, again, is 230 Beverly Parkway. Beverly Parkway is the same road as Brent Lane. If you're on Brent Lane at Cordova Mall, for example, we are on that same road. Just head west, and sooner or later, on the right-hand side of the road, right past Highway 29, you're going to see a 14-foot Buffalo. You'll know that you've hit Frontier Motors. Frontier Motors was named Frontier Motors because we do business the old-fashioned way, where a handshake still means something, where you can come on the lot and not be pressured into making a buy. And we do what I call horse trading, where I can do it verbally. And, of course, sooner or later, we're going to put it on a contract, but everything can be done verbally. If I'll tell you that I'll sell you the car for $19,900, as soon as you make up your mind that you want to buy that car for $19,900, if that car's still available, you come in and we'll write you up a contract at $19,900. And the other thing that we'll do is we'll give you an out-the-door figure with everything included. But the main thing I think we'll do is give you some free advice no matter where you buy the car to make sure that you're going to get a good deal, because we know that if we help you get a good deal, the next time you're in the market for a car, you will come and patronize Frontier Motors. 436-8080. Check out our website. You don't really need to know the website address. If you just Google Frontier Motors, I think there's 4 of them in the nation. We're the top one that comes up. You just click on Frontier Motors, go to inventory, and 300 cars will pop up with 21 detailed photographs.
Guess what?
Don't forget, today's new car is tomorrow's used car. Buy the alternative to new. Buy from Frontier Motors. Thanks for listening and thanks for watching. Have a great day. Auf Wiedersehen.
We've got the right